Greetings again from the mayor's brief. And again, I'm not the mayor, but I'm current Mayor Pro Tem, City Council Member TJ Walker. Glad to have my counterpart here today, Councilman Lige Daughtridge. Again, as we are continuing the mayor's brief. Today we're going to discuss our May 9th meeting, Committee of the Whole and regular scheduled council meeting. It's pretty lengthy for a meeting. We've had some long ones, and this was one of those long ones.
It was a long one. I think and rightfully so, we had about 17 or 18 people speak, about the crime we've had. We've had a past 10 days, we've had a pretty sad day in the history of Rocky Mount, but we're going to get through it. And that's why the mayor called a special meeting on Saturday that we were all present and attended.
Yeah, definitely. And since then, we've had a couple more shootings. I don't think any of them resulted in homicides since Saturday, but I think there were a couple more shootings. We did have a accidental homicide on Mother's Day, which was very tragic, for supposedly an individual to accidentally shoot his own mother. And I think she died from other, complications. She was 72 years old of age, and, so she didn't die necessarily from the gunshot wound, but I think there were some other, complications there, maybe cardiac arrest, heart attack, at age 72, and being shot and, wrestling with a dog at the same time.
Right.
I'm sure there was a lot of stress and, issues going on there, but such a tragic thing that happened on Mother's Day, man. Yeah. So prayers out to the family, prayers out to the whole city and to all that's going on. As you spoke to Councilman Daughtridge, we are in a tough time dealing with crime now in the city and nationwide. But I believe this is a time, and Rocky Mount has proven itself to band together and to unite and to be able to prevail anytime we're faced with such tragedy. And so I'm looking forward to how we are able to address and what plans, how we strategize to make our way out.
Right. No, I agree. And then, at the Committee of the Whole, you asked, we have the police chief, Police Hassel, gave a presentation. He gave it on the FUSIS and then the license plate readers, and then he did his regular update. So we probably ought to hit on that to update some folks on what's going there. I don't know if you want to start with that. Or... Definitely.
The first agenda item we had was about Aetna and the stop-loss agreement, and there wasn't much there to really see. And so secondly on that agenda was Chief Hassel's report, and he did give the crime stats, which, again, were decreasingly low other than the last couple of months that we've seen, which I think we all are aware of. And then he began to talk about the FUSIS system with the cameras and how I believe one of the updates to that system were to be able to implement those into businesses that wanted to volunteer for that program. Right. And they would fit into what the police chief calls the core reader, which is their system of cameras to be able to pick up from business cameras right into and feed right into the police cameras. So you can pick right up there, man, and give your spill on the FUSIS cameras.
Well, I think the FUSIS, I know a lot of people, including myself, there's always a concern about, privacy, and we should be concerned with that. And I think the police chief and the whole police department and the entire city council is aware of the sensitivity of that. And I think we are going to, there's no intent to be going against anyone's rights and privacy. And so that is one thing. But the big thing about what you're talking about is FUSIS, and the next step is for the businesses to volunteer. And that's what the police chief needs. He needs any business that would be interested in sharing their video, and it's the outward video to the streets, public streets and parking lots. It's not the video inside. And that way it will enable the police, if there's a call for whatever reason in the area, they can automatically switch onto that camera and get live feeds, as opposed to after the fact, whether it could be 15, 24 hours or whatever it may be for an investigation. And it can assist them in apprehending or following up with what's going on. So that technology, while scary, it can also help out tremendously our police department and with fighting crime.
Definitely, and to kind of be able to smooth over some of that scare, the police chief did say, I think it was Councilman Blackwell that asked about who has access to these cameras and to this footage, and the chief did assure that there's a specialized department within the police team and staff that has direct access to this and them only. And so that kind of keeps things confidential to a certain degree, for the most part, knowing that there's a specialized department within the police department that handles those cameras. And I think that keeps us to somewhat of a confidential safety matter, to know that not everyone will be able to access these cameras, and people won't just be able to pull them up in the luxury of their own home. It's not like those CB radios where you could just tap into anybody's conversation over the wave. So that was good to know. Another thing was the license plate readers, and he talked about the update on those license plate readers and how they'll be able to, again, like you said, to kind of just use technology and its advancements to be able to catch criminal activity in real time. So I think that was a great addition and great conversation, great plan and program looking to be added from Chief and the staff.
Right. And the license plate readers, as he explained, has already solved some crimes, because I think we have them in the cars now, certain of the police vehicles currently, and they're going to be around the city. And we've already apparently apprehended or retrieved some cars that have been stolen, and been able to find some folks, because the other thing is it's part of a system that is across the country and even statewide. So when we put something in the system, the license plate number, someone's, I don't know if Raleigh or Winston-Salem or Charlotte is part of it. I think at least one of those is part of it. And so if someone steals a car and goes to Charlotte, potentially they could catch that stolen car pretty quickly. So the technology, again, is good.
It is. And, as long as, it's just like anything, as long as you don't abuse it, it's a great tool and asset that we could be able to utilize and benefit from.
Right.
So I'm excited about it. Chief also talked about that he would have, today is May 10th. Yesterday's meeting was May 9th. He would have a 2:30 meeting today with federal and state law enforcement agencies. And then he had a press conference today at 4:30. Again, This is May 10th. So I'm sure by the time this airs, everyone will be able to tune in to that press conference and be able to hear about what that meeting was about with federal and state law enforcement agencies.
And our sheriffs.
And the sheriffs, that's right.
From Edgecombe and Nash County, so which is good. And, and we spent almost 2 hours on Saturday with the special called meeting. And we talked a lot about what we as a city council were concerned with and what we would like to see happen. And, things came up about the low bonds, and also with people that are currently going through the court system and how those take a long time to run through the court system. And I think that's a concern, at least for me as a city council person, because I think what we're finding with some of the crime is some of the folks that are committing the crime, while it's not random acts most of the time, but it's the same, it seems and appears to be the impression that I have, it's the same people, same few people committing crimes, because most people in Rocky Mount are good, law-abiding citizens and doing what they should do.
Yeah, those repeated felons, there should be something in place to where, and I'm all for, second chances. We all need them, second chances, third chances, we're all living on who knows how many chances. But to some degree, we have to be able to draw that line of justice to say, where do we draw this line to say, okay, you've been convicted and maybe looking at the nature of crime. I don't know what all goes into the DA's office and the judges and what all they look into. I didn't go to school for that, and that's not my field. But I'm sure there's something they could do to make sure and ensure that justice is served and is done so in a matter of equality. Because what we don't want to see is just the city continue to go down this path of violent crime. Then we get to the place where we're calling special call meetings and we're trying to figure out a solution. And, there's so many different, ways to address so many different issues and so many different problems. And it's not an overnight fix, and we've got a lot of work to do. But I definitely hope that this period and these tragic events that happened over the last couple of weeks and months will lead to some positive changes, in our judicial system and in our city as a whole.
Right. And some people brought up some great, some of the speakers last night brought up the mental health.
Mm-hmm.
We need to focus on that. And we also need to focus on the family. I will say a lot of that is, it's going to be tough for the city to tackle that. I think we can partner with, there's some organizations already out there that do some good jobs with that. And I think the city could be a good conduit, and maybe organizing some meetings and things of that nature, even within the various wards.
Yeah.
I could have ward meetings, you could have ward meetings, invite people and have these speakers there. I've got to learn more, and I'm concerned. I won't say I'm concerned, but I question how the city would tackle that, because I think it's just like law enforcement. There's experts in mental health, and I don't think the city is one of them.
Yeah.
So, but it's a conversation we're going to have as a city council.
Definitely. And, as always, looking at the budget coming up and knowing that we've got, we're stretched thin with all of our expenditures and allocations and new plans and initiatives we have to do. But some way, somehow, we're going to have to find a way to foot the bill for some of these issues and solutions that we're seeing. Again, like you said, I don't know what that solution looks like. I've been in some conversations trying to see if some of our elementary and middle schools could open their doors up for after school programming and maybe find a way, to where we could help fund some of it and not do it continually, footing the whole bill, but being able to at least create some seed startup or something of that nature, and to find different partners all throughout the city. But I think that's, we got to start with our young people early on, elementary, middle school. Because after that point, man, it's, it's pretty much you've created your own path. You've created your own ideology and thought of what you want to do and what you want to be. And so if we start capturing them a little early on, I think it may help to ease and to cause a better preparation, in society for some of our young citizens.
Yeah, I don't disagree. You're talking to a person that was involved in the Boys and Girls Club for almost a decade, actively on the board, and that's what the Boys and Girls Club does. They do a great job with that, plus many other organizations and church organizations and school organizations. But you hit the nail on the head. It's money. Yeah, it's money. And you've got to have the right staff, and really, when you get down to it, we as parents, I mean, both of us are parents, and it ultimately is up to us to raise our children. No parent does it exactly right. There's always mistakes. To your point earlier, still making. I don't know a perfect person or a perfect parent. I think you learn as you go. But I say that because the city does not need to take all the. I mean, we need to be a conduit and helpful. Yeah. But ultimately, it comes down to personal responsibility, and there's only so much money, because the other thing is we have other priorities. We're talking about housing. Yeah. We're talking about infrastructure. We're so many things, parks and rec, so many things going on, but there's not an infinite amount of money. And and we've allocated a large part of money for certain areas that we're already committed to. So that's where the balance is going to come in, and that's the discussion we're going to have.
That's it. So to all of our listeners with money, you've heard it here. We need money. But no, in all seriousness, a lot of people do ask, how can they play a part? Right. How can they help out? I know we're going to need a lot of volunteers. We're going to need money. And we're going to just need a city to band together to say, listen, I don't know the solution, but I'm here willing and eager to help try to figure out a solution.
But let's don't forget, we don't need to recreate the wheel, because there's already organizations out there that are doing good jobs. So just that partnership will work out. We need to find the right partners, and I think we can do that. We have some now.
Yeah, so. Most definitely. Most definitely, man. Moving over to our regular scheduled meeting, I think one of the highlights of that was public comment, of course. Sure. And thankful and grateful for the public comment to be able to present some options, to be able to come and just, speak their mind and let us hear their frustrations and how the community feels about all of the unrest. And so I believe that was a great portion and most significant piece of our meeting last night.
Yeah, and I think one that resonates with me is someone said, we need to go to the schools and said each one of us needs to go and sit down with the children and the young adults and get their perspective. And I think that's something we should each take on our own and do. How we can do that, I don't know. We've got to get in touch with schools and
Oh man, they'll welcome us, man. With all they're dealing with, every principal, teacher that's listening right now, I'm sure they'll say, "Hey, listen, we've got an open door policy for our council members, so we don't even have to sign in, do a waiver. They're waiting for us to provide any type of assistance we can." But
no comment on that.
And we thank them for all they do as well. I think the Villa Place foreclosure, not really foreclosure, but demolition process is going to start there. That was another huge piece with Villa Place being in my ward. I was glad to see that we're going to get rid of some blight and create some opportunity for, some real estate developer, whether it's local or whether it's not local, whatever the case may be. There's going to be some opportunity to provide some housing for people within my ward and within the city. So I was glad to see it.
Well, we had that, but I think the Villa Place, maybe I'm mistaken, I thought that was going to go to a foreclosure, and I think they're going to try to keep the historical tax credits.
It is. Okay,
and then I think we had some voluntary demolitions, and I've got the packet here. I know you don't have the full packet in front of you, but an address on East Grand, Beckman Street, Edgecombe Street, Sycamore Street, and then 3 on Brown Drive, and then some on Kingsway Mobile Home Park, 6 manufactured homes. So, and then going back to the tax foreclosure on Villa Street, the tax foreclosures, because we're in arrears since 2010, about $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
The county taxes are $1,700, almost $1,800, and nuisance and abatement is $2,600 for about $8,500. And I list all that because if we can't get through the foreclosure process, we as a city can recoup the monies that are owed to us.
Yeah.
And that could be part of the foreclosure. And I think at one time we had a pretty significant amount out there. I don't know if it's been reduced any at all, but to your point, it would put some more housing stock back in, certainly in Ward 4. And then speaking of Ward 4, we also had, I think on Hammond Street,
Hammond is 811, I believe, 815 and 821.
Yeah,
that bid was I think we considered a resolution for authorizing execution for the right of that purchase. I think that was $33,000 for that purchase, and so that's 2 homes there that will that are up out there that are under contract now, and I think we executed that. So again, there's more housing stock in Ward 4. So that's a big win for me. Big win for the city as well. Yeah. But I'm always grateful and thankful that's in the ward. And thanks for that correction about Villa Place too.
Well, I wasn't trying to correct.
I thought it was a demolition. No, the people need the right information.
Well, no, because as we all know, there's a lot of folks that love the historic. And they might get a little worked up.
Yeah, we don't want to listen.
Tear down those historic homes.
We don't want to upset anybody on the mayor's brief. This is not our show. So, but
if you do have a complaint, you can call the mayor.
Yes, sir. You call the mayor and take that out with the mayor. But this is not TJ or Lige. But no, seriously, thank you for that correction. It is a foreclosure and not a demolition. So appreciate that. I think everything else was pretty much there's 87 acres of land that's going to be utilized for hunting purposes. So for all the hunters, it looks like there may be a new parcel or tract for hunting purposes within the city. And so that may be exciting for some. I don't think it was close. As in conversation, Peter didn't say anything about it being close to any residential type of property. So you don't have to worry about hearing a lot of shooting and firearms, from hunting. But that was good news there as well. Tri-Faith Ministries, we talk about parking for our downtown. They're going to be able to utilize their parking lot now to be able to help with some of the capacity for parking. And so that was good. Good to see a public-private partnership, or I guess would church be considered public?
What nonprofit?
Yeah.
Nonprofit, public.
Yes, sir.
But it's going to generate money for both the church and for the city.
Yeah.
And provide parking for the
event
folks going to the event center.
Yes, sir. So. And the event center had a major turnout this past weekend with there was a concert there for Mother's Day I took my wife to. There was a R&B concert, and there was also graduation for Wesleyan that took place at the event center. So we encourage everybody, if you can, find a booking there or find space to book it up and and make the city some more money, but enjoy the beautiful facility as well. There were a few more appointments that were made on the appointment, and again, we encourage everyone if you want to serve on a board. And you are trying to find a way to engage into the city. Some of the boards that we have available are best. And you can visit the city's website, RockyMountNC.gov or .com, RockyMountNC.com, in order to capture those. And also Pamela.Casey@RockyMountNC.gov is the email of our clerk. And she deals directly with a lot of the personal history forms that you'll need in order to serve. Did you have anything else, Councilman Daughtridge?
No, I don't know if you want to mention the speed study that Mr. Varney, interim city manager on Kingston Avenue, he gave us some information on that. And so it's always interesting to see the speed studies go. And even Police Chief Hassel spoke about that last night, a little bit about the speed and how, and in fact, in his report, he even mentioned going through the main thoroughfares throughout Rocky Mount and monitoring traffic, and they're going to do that. They've been on Bienvenue Road, East Raleigh Boulevard, West Raleigh Boulevard, Falls Road, North and South Westland Boulevard, Peachtree Street, and Sunset. So I guess the encouragement there is everybody watch your speed, and we do have a lot of pedestrians that walk throughout Rocky Mount, so we need to make sure that we're not speeding and being safe out there. So
that's it. So watch your speed, and congratulations, Kingston Avenue, for you'll be receiving some speed cushions pretty soon. So congrats, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of calls from citizens and constituents wanting speed cushions. Yeah. But again, I think once the study is done, I think it is a need all throughout the city. Because regardless, human nature, you say don't speed, but somewhere, somehow we're going to speed. And so, but anything we can have in place to help us and prevent us, again, that's another preventative measure. And that's what we're trying to figure out with our crime too. How can we get ahead and prevent a lot of what we're seeing here? We want to be a preventative city, and not a retroactive city. So, well, Councilman Daughtridge, you have anything else?
No, sir.
Happy belated birthday to you. He just turned 76, and so happy belated birthday.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. He's getting older. I asked him something last night, and no, it wasn't. I didn't ask him. No, he was walking out last night, and he forgot where he parked and stuff.
All right, I appreciate you giving me a hard time, Councilman.
So he is getting older, so y'all continue to play for Councilman Daughtridge. But no, this is our third year together. We're coming up on our last year, man. Right. So it's been fun. It's been a learning experience for me, man. It's been great to be able to serve with you and the rest of our council members.
I agree. It's been a learning experience, and we've gone through. We talked about it one of the first times, all the things that we've experienced just the short time that we've been on council with COVID and computers and internet. And
that's it. You name it, we've experienced it. And so, but I appreciate it, and thank you for co-hosting with me today for the Mayor's Brief.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.